If your marriage feels more like roommates than lovers, or if stress has built a wall between you, this podcast is for you.
We're Andrew and Lara, marriage coaches and happily married couple of nearly 20 years.
We're best friends, partners in adventure, and living proof that marriage can be both joyful and strong.
Every week we'll share real stories, practical tools, and one simple shift you can make to go from disconnection to intimacy, and from survival to thriving together.
Do you ever feel like you're having the same fight on repeat? I know a lot of you are saying yes. A lot of you. I've talked to so many of you where the fights are horrible and they're the same thing in different forms over and over. And what it is old wounds are resurfacing because your brain is holding on to unresolved emotional memories. It could be from your marriage. It could be from your childhood. Talking for hours, maybe with your spouse, about the same story, and it's not healing you. You're just getting stuck there, and it's just reactivating your pain. And a lot of why that's happening is because you are not feeling heard and seen and held in that pain and that trauma. A part of healing in talk therapy is talking about it and truly feeling like someone sees you. And until you feel heard and seen by the person that you're in your marriage with, quite often you can be like a broken record and driving each other mental. It's the same thing again. I've heard this before. You've probably had that said to you, right?
Yeah. And rather than like, she's just got so much of this stuff to work on, or
it's her issue again.
Or
she's so insecure.
He's just not, doesn't know anything about his heart and all that sort of thing. It's just something that you can both journey this through together.
Yeah.
And you can make positive steps together in this area.
I'm going to share a story. For me, is like I was, before I got married, in previous relationships, I had 3 longer term relationships before I got married to Andrew. I had this really massive area of insecurity where I did not feel safe in a relationship like the most important woman and the only woman. I always felt like if there was a beautiful woman, this massive threat response in me. And quite often what would happen in those relationships when I felt that way is, one, I would go into accusing them of being a pervert or being blah, blah, blah. And I was in like, inside of me, if you could picture my nervous system's like on red, like beautiful woman.
Alarms going off.
Alarms like threat. And I went into this fight, flight, and it's your fault and you're looking, and accusatory. And then what would happen is they would come back at me with like defense and excuse and defense and excuse. And it was a broken record in me for years. It was such a big wound. And the thing is that I didn't realize that so much of my threat response was coming from what was modeled to me as a child and what I learned growing up. I want to honor my parents. I'm not going to talk about the roots of that, but just know that what you are experiencing on repeat is often coming from somewhere, and getting that heard and seen is important. And so, if you're having fights that are like déjà vu, even years later, where the same trigger would set off the same tension, this episode's for you.
Absolutely.
And your body remembers, doesn't it, babe? Like you've talked to so many men, right?
Yeah.
And their body gets into this stressful place.
Yeah. It is pain or problems. But that's the same as tension and issues in our body. But it's so linked into the temporal lobe and the amygdala and all those areas that are very memory centers in our brain. So I'm talking about the tissue of the brain, not just your mind, but it's also linked together. And so that's more of a reflex, like normal reaction, is that if I've had this pain in my body before, if there's something that's close to that, it'll totally, like, alarm bells make it worse than it would be. That's the body's way that it's wired, and everyone responds differently. So
It's true.
some people that's kind of, ramped down, or you do some work on things so that you can desensitize that, or reduce the cascade or catastrophization in your body. And I'm talking the nervous system.
Yes, good.
That sort of thing. So, in your body, it remembers things. And so you can feel this as like knots in your gut, because that's, again, research shows how linked the gut, stomach and digestive system is to your mind, and to your brain, really, the tissue there. So there's another place for your mind that is in your gut, but it just this can be a lot more of like a different feeling in your body compared to the threat or the those other anxiety types that are driven things.
Yeah, and the pain is real. Like, having experienced this looping story in my own life, that pain is really real, and it feels overwhelming. And I've talked to many of you about scenarios of this thing. And the beautiful thing that I'll get to in a minute is that there's two responses, like where you can get defensive, like I shared in my story at the start, where I would say it's your fault, and then they would come back and make excuses and blame me and not. But the bigger wound in me was a feeling of, it's an emotional memory, and a lot of you don't realize it, but you're having this emotional memory trigger, and the feeling of rejection is coming up, of not being like, feeling like you're enough, of feeling unseen, even when the issue might feel small and petty, but it's triggering really basic human desires in our design and our psychology to feel seen.
Yeah, for you to feel like the most important thing in my life. Right?
Yes, and what was beautiful with Andrew and how he handled my issue, my wound, differently, and hear me on this, because this is a way you can serve each other in marriage so beautifully. He helped me heal, and he did that by seeing my pain and doing this. I mean, babe, you've done this. You are the most beautiful thing. You tell me what you've done to help me heal.
Yeah,
I'm going to cry.
I would just say you're the most beautiful person in my world. You define beauty. You're everything to me. And there's no one I want to look at more than you.
So what you've done is reassure me that, yes, there's a beautiful person there. I see that. And you may even find them attractive, but you've chosen me again and again. And you've recognized my threat response, and you've comforted me in that pain. So like we've said, we've built a marriage that's thriving and happy, and we peel back the curtain of that and say we've not had to fix a broken marriage. We've built a strong marriage that didn't need fixing. And this is not because we haven't got trauma and backgrounds of pain, but because we've both been committed to showing up to heal. Committed to our own wholeness, and then saying, hey, your pain, it matters to me. I see that pain, and I want to be part of helping that be soothed and healed, and I want to help you become whole. And in that way, you're not codependent. You're not like, you must love me, you must see me, you must fix me. It's honoring the fact that we come with basic human needs to matter. This is sacred. A marriage is sacred. It is. There's certain parts of the marriage, like feeling like you are the apple of your spouse's eye, like when you show up for each other like that. You are not signing up for the deal that you're going to be shared in the intimate ways with everybody. And some of you, I know everybody's different, and some people have more comfort and less threat in that. But ultimately what I'm saying is that you are signing up to something intimate with each other that you're not meant to share with anyone else. And so feeling that healing from Andrew has been one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. You have the power, let me encourage you, to be that for your spouse. You have the power and know this. It wasn't that it was his responsibility to fix me. I was getting the help that I needed. I was going to psych. I was psychology. I was going out and going to healing events and getting myself where I need to be. You were doing the same thing. We were owning our own path. And then when we came together, we empathized with each other and allowed each other to have what we needed to heal as a couple.
Yeah.
And we've
Yeah,
not stopped healing.
Yeah, totally. And in for my process, I would see maybe a bigger reaction than I felt that was
justified
or whatever else.
So what did I do?
So I do a little check-in and say, hey, have I honored her well? Have I done something to set her off here or whatever else? But I could just say, this is sparking something with her. And I just love her. So I'm just like, all right.
I choose you in this.
I choose you, and I'm going to
make you feel safe.
I'll work towards. I'm a husband. I want to make her feel safe, the safest person in the world.
Yeah.
I want her to feel that I've got things in control, that our sexuality is just ours, and it's protected. And I want to know that I'm with her to the end, and that I'm fighting for our future, together. Yeah. So reminding her, or just attending to that, and just giving it space to say, okay, you're feeling some big things, but I'm here. And then not feeling the pressure of like, what have I done wrong? And then, if I can't do, she can't feel safe, then, I can't do X, Y, Z.
But it's that quick check-in with yourself, like, did I do something that threatened the safety feeling for each other? And then recognizing and owning your behavior if you did, and allowing the other person to feel safe with you. It's really, really important. And safety in this situation, safety is a spectrum. Like there's safety within, is that person physically abusive, or that's a red flag, get out now. And then there's safety emotionally, and there's safety of feeling like when I share with you my vulnerability, it's going to be heard, and it's not going to be ridiculed or mocked or criticized. Or made as this, it's your issue, here we go again, on repeat. Oh my gosh, go and get some help already. Because you're part of that solution when you sign up for each other together. So the brain actually stores unresolved pain in the amygdala, so that when something similar happens, that maybe is a memory or something from your childhood, it reacts as if the past is happening again. An example of this, and it's not the only area, but if you, for example, have been divorced and remarried, maybe you got divorced because your previous spouse cheated on you. You go into the next marriage, and that person may be a very safe person in that area, but that pain in you can easily be triggered and react like it's happening again over little things. It's just how the human experience is. Recognize that in yourself. That's why a lot of couples, you hear this sort of thing like, you always, or here we go again, which is to me an instant disconnection statement, because it's saying this is on you, this is your fault, and I'm not here to partner with you in this solution to fix this. And it's true, you don't have to fix me. That's not Andrew's job. It's not his job to fix me. His job is to show up and to help me feel seen, to give me identity, and for me to give him identity by saying, hey, I'm here. That's a human need. It's from birth, a baby will look for eye contact with its mother. There's heaps of research in this. If the mother's not looking, the baby will be in distress. There is a need for connection that is in our psychology from birth. So when I need to feel seen, like he sees me, that is something in marriage that is very important, but he doesn't need to fix me. It's my job to show up and to get whole. And when we're both committing to that, you don't need to fix me, I don't need to fix you, but I'm going to give you identity. I'm going to see you. I'm going to help you in this pain by holding it with you. I'm going to show up for you with this. I'm going to help you when you feel threatened to feel safe. That matters in a marriage, right?
Yeah. You just said a good thing that I think is like you're going to give me identity. Yeah. It's sort of a different definition that I hear a lot of patients tell me about and that sort of thing. So my identity is often explained as like that's who I am, and I build that or I frame that in my mind. But this is more the process that she gives me identity. She gives me a sense of my worth, the definition of who I am. By
looking at you like a mother looks at it, not like a mum, because I'm not your mum, but like that mother metaphor with the child.
Yeah, giving me her attention and her love, but giving me compliments, giving me...
Yeah, saying, I see you.
Yeah, I see the hard work you're doing.
Yeah.
I see you as a specialist physical therapist. I see you as a great father. I see you as a great husband. I'm giving examples, right?
Yeah. And the goal isn't to relive every detail of your trauma. If you're doing that with a psychologist, fantastic. In order to heal, that's a process that's healthy and whole. But with each other, every time you're going through these triggers or whatever, reliving every trauma is not the goal. The goal is to heal the wound so that it stops running your marriage. If you don't heal it and you are a broken record, and healing, yes, takes time, but a big way you can help each other is for them to feel seen and soothed and held in that wound, and then to be doing something about it on their own as well. Otherwise, it will run havoc and repeat itself in your marriage over and over again.
Yeah.
So how does this show up in the body, mind, and heart?
Yeah, I mean, so in the body, we take that the example I gave you, but the temporal lobe, the memory centers are very, keyed into all of this, and they represent in the body. So it might be someone who's like their neck always tends to crank up with some pain and tension and whatever else because of that was somehow linked to a previous situation, wound and thing they went through. So often it can play out with a repetitive sort of way in your body type thing. So there's quite individual as to the circumstance and the person and the body.
Yeah.
And so it just may be familiar. You might feel like, oh, this feels in my body just like that old thing.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty good cue to be like, oh, okay, this is resurfacing an old wound, right? That's the connection.
Yeah.
So your mind might be, just think about it for now. What's something that is an old wound for you? There's ruminating thoughts, we call it. Like, so it might be on, I'm never enough, or they're never going to change. This is how it's going to be for the rest of our life.
And you get that a lot with physical pain. Andrew's many times noticed in his patients and shared that with the physical pain often comes this emotional pain, is it's never going to change. It's never going to get better. And that can happen in a marriage too,
it's
right?
natural. The central nervous system is wired to kind of catastrophize. And I'm not saying every person's
Stop
body
catastrophizing.
is a catastrophizing mess.
Yeah.
But there is a natural process when I feel pain or I've had repetitive pain for the body to say, this is going to keep there. This is going to be here forever.
This is my lot in life now.
I have to lock in and just deal with this. And that brings despair.
Hopelessness.
And all these sort of things. And that's just linked into it. And obviously, when there's success through treatment or the body getting a little better after a little injury or something, there is the nervous system responds and kind of goes, that's not true. Okay. But that when there's repetitive pain, that is worsened and worsened into that catastrophizing cycle type thing.
And it's the same thing emotionally there as Andrew's talking about in the physical body, like the same patterning, right? Happens.
Yeah. And so, within your heart then, with all this cascading things and then the weight of the memory aspect to all of this there, we just withdraw. We just get into a place of like, this is my lot in life. And we can feel resentful for the process that like, this is never going to change, or this is it. And we link, obviously we don't try to, but our body, our mind, all these things link the past to now, and we're just brought to that place again. And that's our reality. That's the narrative we see in front of us.
The story I'm telling myself is this is it. It's never going to change. It's hopeless.
And then the person can be like, whoa, what's happened here? Like, I'm here, we're all as well. Like,
we're stuck in a loop. How are we here? How do we get out of this loop?
And so healing in this situation means, and it needs physical regulation and emotional retraining, reframing, but it's possible. And like Lara said, it's like often we need counseling, we need outside help. But together we have a powerful and sometimes transformative place together to bring healing.
Yeah. And just so you know as well, if you are really, I mean, this is a deep conversation. If you are looking for coaching, I'm an International Coaching Federation professional certified life coach. I can work with you one-on-one to get you out of these stuck places. Coaching is not therapy. We're not going to go back into trauma. If you've got a lot of trauma, I think go see a psychologist. That they're going to deal with looking at that past and how it's affecting you today. As a coach, what I'm going to do is help you move forward from where you are to get unstuck, to go forward. So maybe you've tried therapy in the past, but you haven't tried coaching. We can do it 2-on-1, as in you and your spouse, or 1-on-1 or individual sessions. But I'm available to do that to help you, because I recognize that it can be very difficult to navigate these things on your own. But there's also some tools that I can give you to take away. As much as you can, try to name the wound, not the story. What I mean is, this touches on my old fear of being unseen instead of rehashing the details of that trauma again and again and again and again with your spouse. Andrew's been so good at this with me over the years. He's often gone, I'm feeling triggered, like this is coming, because he has done the work, because he has done the psych, that you have had the help. And so have I, and that's been a big part of why our marriage is successful and happy and thriving, is because we've both done the work on our own journeys and traumas. But often I will hear him say things like, this is my wound from this, or this is my, and he just recognizes how it's playing out in the here and now. And I'm able just to hold him in that, and just to say, hey, I see you. And that can be everything. It's not like these things, I don't think they ever fully disappear, and I don't want to be doom and gloom, because they lose their sting, but it's like a scar. Like, I mean, I don't feel insecure at all anymore around other women like I did, because you've made me feel safe. But
and you've done some hard work.
And I've done some hard work. So I do, but like, yeah, there's a scar there. It's healed. And I'm good. Am I immune from ever feeling it? Absolutely not. Like, I think there's an ongoing work that we have together, and that's really beautiful. So as much as you know how to name the wound, if you've done that work, or this encourages you to go do that work so that you can name the wound and not the story. The next thing is to soothe the body, as Andrew was talking about.
Pause. Yeah. Just pause. Take that moment. Breathe. If it's deep breath, if it's just a hand under the shoulder, and regulating the heart rate and regulating the body. And
maybe for each other. If you are in a place where you can, if you're in a real crisis place, it's going to be hard to show up for each other in that way. But there's this beautiful light coming through the window.
It's wonderful.
Framing me so nicely.
It's wonderful. But a hug is really powerful. The more contact we have, sort of front on, contact, lots of contact in the front of our bodies, bit like the baby position of like nestled up on your side, thumb in your mouth, and it's like you're in the womb.
Fetal position,
and like weighted blankets would do that for patients who are dysregulated in their nervous system. A weighted, heavier type blanket all over their body. They feel a hug, literally.
Yeah, it's funny because
hug each other.
Yeah, if you're in a place where you can, we recognize when you're in a severe crisis and you don't feel safe together, that you're not going to want to do that straight away. That's a goal. But recognize that, like the research says, lots of little connection points will lead to that trust and safety that you're craving. And then reframe together. Reframe is such a beautiful coaching word. It's like you're going on this thought path, and then you're like, actually, let's try this thought path. That was then, for example. And now we're on the same team. Yes, in the past, I used to say it's all on you and it's your fault, but now we're a team, and how are we going to fix this together? Not even fix, I don't like the word fix, delete that. How are we going to walk this out together? How are we going to journey this out together and take responsibility for our part in it? Codependency is a word used a lot in psych. It's where it's like your job to fix me, and I can't survive without you doing this kind of behavior, and you become almost like parasites to each other rather than owning your own path. That's just my version of it. That's not what a psych would write in their psych exam. But like that's been my experience of living in the past in those codependent states, which are not healthy. Own your own journey.
Whereas interdependent is that sense of that I'm on my journey
and I'm on mine.
I can self-soothe.
Yeah.
And that we separately, have a way of journeying, but we know our place in each other's lives.
Yeah, that's so good. Andrew still to this day is showing up and doing the work as a man. Like, he goes to men's group, he does books, he's been so good at owning his own wholeness journey. So that he can show up fully for me. And that's maturity. That's growing up. That's being a man. And I love that. I love that about him. And then closing with repair with each other is like a simple apology or a hug. You might, if you're faith inclined, pray or an affirmation, not an ego-mation. It might seal that healing or help you with that healing.
Just reframe, isn't it?
Just, yeah, exactly. So healing doesn't always come from the endless arguments that you're not resolving. It comes from creating new experiences of safety and care. So creating new stories together of safety, care and connection together. And you keep rewriting that story. You will build a beautiful, unshakable bond together.
So using our 3-minute marriage reset is so powerful. It's a quick reset. And when that's natural to you to do, this sort of process will just become so natural and easy. And it's sort of like a quick reflex that you'll get used to, and giving yourself new experiences, new strategies to kind of to deal with this, rather than zipping into old habits and that sort of thing. And that's just easy to find. It's andrewandlara.com.
Yep, just download the free guide there. It's called the 3-minute BMH marriage shift. Just a quick tool that we created to give to you to help you on your healing journey together. And I encourage you to share this episode with your spouse or with a married couple that you know might be in crisis.
Yeah, guys, a friend you might have that you just really see they
need some support. They need some help. Subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or Apple or Spotify, whatever platform you're on. It helps us to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review if this has helped you and been a blessing to you. Take the 1 minute to do that by scrolling to whatever platform. It's usually down the bottom on podcast platforms, and you can just literally hit it in 5 seconds flat and share, and it would just be helpful to us. And
thank you so much for doing that.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us on Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. Remember, connection isn't about perfection. It's about showing up.
If you want a quick way to feel closer tonight, grab our free resource, the 3-minute marriage reset, at andrewandlara.com. We'll see you next week. And until then, keep choosing each other every single day.